Now I know that you wake up with all the time in the world to run. You don't have any other outside responsibilities. You don't have to work. You don't have a family or friends or a house to take care of. And you can simply focus your entire day on your run and on the training you have to do. Sorry? That was all just a fever dream. No, I made all that up, yeah. Sorry. All right, well, I got my producer in my ear telling me that we can't air that. So look, we're all busy. We all have responsibilities. We all have families and things to do outside of running. And for a lot of us, we're lucky if we can dedicate an hour a day to exercise. Our dynamic warm-up, our run, any core and strength work that we're gonna do, drills, cross-training. There's so many things that we can spend our time on. And what I'd like to do in this video is talk about what busy runners should focus on in their training if they want to still achieve their goals, if they still want to stay healthy and run fast, but at the same time, they don't have all the time in the world to train because they're real people with real jobs, real responsibilities, and after all of us can't make running our number one priority. So if you're a normal person and you still have big running goals, what should we focus on to get the most bang from our buck in our training? So let's start high level. First, I think it depends on what kind of race that you might be training for. If you're training for a half marathon or longer, I think the long run is your number one most important run of the week. So if you're going to skip some runs or if you're going to cut out some of your training, let's preserve the long run. And then the next most important run that you're going to do during the week, that's your faster workout. Maybe it's a half marathon paced run, maybe you're doing a tempo run or some sort of hill workout, whatever it might be. If you're a half marathoner or someone training for a longer race, then the faster session that you're doing during the week, that's probably your number two most important workout of the week. And the bronze medal, third place, goes to simply the next longest run. So there's your long run, there's your faster workout, then there's your next longest run. The fourth most important run is your next longest run, and it just goes from there. So essentially, if you are someone training for the half or longer, I would love to see you prioritize the long run and the workout in that order, and then get in what you can outside of that. Now, this does change a little bit if you're someone who's training for a shorter race, let's say the 10K, maybe the 5K. In that case, let's switch these two runs. Your most important workout of the week is your faster workout. The second most important run is the long run, and then the next longest run. This is a helpful framework to give runners very simple that allows them to determine the two most important runs that they're going to do every week. Now, besides what we do when we're out there running, there's also a lot of things that we do outside of running, like strength training, like drills, like a dynamic warm-up. And so if you're short on time, I would very much rather you do a longer dynamic warm-up at the beginning so that you're not only warmed up, it makes you feel better, it prevents injuries. If you're running in the cold in the winter, then it makes the first mile or so of your run feel a lot easier because you're already metabolically primed for that run. You're already a little bit warmer right from the outset. So get in the warm-up first and then go for your run. If you have to cut a kilometer or a mile or so from your run so that you can get in a solid 10-minute warm-up, and I'm going to include a link under this video on some of my favorite dynamic warm-ups that take maybe 10 minutes or less, then I would much rather you do that. Skip a little bit of running so that you can get in the dynamic warm-up and a little bit of strength work that's included there. Now, another fundamental part of runners training that I think every runner should be doing, whether you just joined the freshman cross-country team at your high school, or maybe you're someone with 20 years of marathon experience, are strides. 100-meter accelerations, that you do them after your run, where you simply accelerate to maybe about 95, 98% of your maximum, hold that for only a second or two, and then you coast to a stop. You take about a minute, easy walking or just standing in between each stride, and then you go again. Now, if you're short on time, you probably don't have time to do your run and then do a session of strides, which could add 5 to 7 minutes to your workout for the day. So what you could do is actually incorporate strides into the run itself. And the benefit here is that you get in the strides and you get mostly the same benefits as doing them the more traditional way. but you actually run a little bit faster for the last mile or so of your run, and that can even save you a little bit of extra time. So what you'll do is simply do a 25-second-ish stride during the last mile of your run, separated by about 90 seconds or 2 minutes of very easy running. So you'll do a stride the way that you would normally do it, but instead of stopping, you would just slow to a nice easy jog for about a minute and a half or 2 minutes. And then you would start up and do the next one. So the strides are essentially built in to the last mile or 1 or 2 kilometers of your run. Now, a lot of runners know that I'm a big proponent of strength training for runners. It's not cross training, it's just training. So if you're very busy and you finish your run, maybe you got in that warm up, you did your strides during the run, but now you got to rush off to work, or you got to get the kids ready for school, or your lunch hour's over and you need to get back to the office. What do you do now? How can you get in your strength work? Well, a lot of you are familiar with my sandwich method, where we're going to sandwich your run between that dynamic warm-up and then a 10 to 20 minute strength routine. If you can't do it right after your run, that's okay. Let's do it later in the day if you can. You can do it during your lunch hour. You can do it right after work. You can do it in the evening once you put the kids to bed or you're watching TV. You can simply get it done whenever you have time later in the day. Because the most important thing, the number one priority, is to do the workout, to do the strength routine, to do the core routine, and to get it completed. The second priority is to do it right after your run so that it helps with the cool down process. So if you don't have time right after your run, that's okay. Let's just wait until later in the day and try to fit in 10 or 15 minutes of that work whenever you have that little bit of window. And you'll still get in the benefits of doing that work. You're going to feel better the next day after having done it. You're going to gain strength and general athleticism and coordination. There's a lot to love about these core and strength routines. So if you can make time later in the day, that's perfect. Now, a lot of you guys know that I'm a married man. I have 3 kids myself. I'm running strength running, and I find that my time is always under constant threat, and I don't have as much time to run as I used to back when I was 24 and having the time of my life. So I want to hear from you. What are your time-saving tips for runners? I'd love for you to leave a comment. This is as much for me as it is for the rest of the strength running community. Tell me, how do you get in your training while saving time and still loving this great sport?